wasn't that much detail in it, Kevin, it seemed to me, but perhaps at this stage you don't need to give much detail. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a bit of a danger there for Labour because, potentially this could be the last conference before the next general election. There was a lot of buzz last night, again, that there might be an early election, So this is Rachel Reeves' big chance, as you say, to try and sell herself to the country as the next Chancellor of the Exchequer. it was a very competent speech. Rachel's a class act, she's definitely one of Labour's best performers, very good public speaker. But I did wonder, had Kwasi Kwarteng not announced last Friday that he was doing away with the 45p rate, what would she have had to announce today? The big announcement is that they're going to bring it back and spend it on the NHS, as Kate says. Other than that, there was nothing really new in it. A lot of attacks on the Tories, as you might expect, playing up Labour's pro-business credentials. But as I say, if I hadn't been that thing right at the very end, there'd be nothing really for people like me and Kate to actually write about,
Actually, interestingly on that as well, it's interesting that, yes, the language was quite aggressive on attacking the Tories, attacking trickle-down economics, but where was the argument there for growth, for aspiration? And once again, maybe we have heard a Labour Chancellor come away in their, Shadow Chancellor, I should say, and their top line is we're going to put up taxes.
For the rich.
For the rich.
Do you think that's politically dangerous? There's an argument that says any offer of raising people's taxes might give people a worry, some fear that actually they're next in line.
I think the danger for Labour there is that the only thing people hear at home is, we'll put up your taxes. So saying you're going to put up taxes on the rich, that plays well in the hall here amongst Labour activists. But, outside of the hall, people are pretty aspirational. £150,000 a year obviously is a lot of money, an awful lot of money.
600,000 people earn it, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. But, people, think to themselves, well, actually, I would quite fancy earning that amount of money, and if I do, Labour are going to absolutely clobber me for tax. So it's a bit of a gamble in a way as well. And in the past, Labour have gone into elections talking about taxing the rich and then lost that election, So, it's not...
So it's not cost-free.
No.
It's not cost-free. Now, lots of people are saying that what the Tories have set out is a gamble. They don't know that it's going to definitely lead to growth. There's laws of scepticism around about it. But Labour are taking a gamble as well because it might work. And the economy might be in a good place when that next election comes. So it sort of feels a lot easier this week for Labour than it might do in 6, 8, 12, 15 months' time, because that's the length of time before Liz Truss has to go to the country.
Exactly. I think Liz Truss and her economic policy is both good and bad for Labour. It's given... Liz's brand of Toryism is hugely different to Labour Party. So there's clear blue water between the two parties now. They're differentiated. So Labour can go in and say, we're more statist, and they don't have sort of a Boris Johnson kind of figure parking the Tory tanks on their lawn anymore. But, and this is a huge but, what Liz is doing, which I think could be very popular, is she's got a recipe for what she says will cause growth. So she's saying, I'm going to do these tax cuts, I'm unapologetic about it, this is my recipe for growth, I'm going to face down the naysayers. If that works, if we start growing, I think she'll come out triumphant because she'll have kind of done this controversial thing, she'll have seen it through, and she'll get all of the credit. And where were Labour in that argument? They were nowhere. As ever, these things all rely on what happens with the economy. Do people feel better going into the next election? Are our wages starting to go up again? Is the economy back growing again? And it all hinges on that.
Kevin, the party seems to be in good spirits. They seem quite optimistic about their chances at the next election, but this is the Labour Party. They're always roused behind the scenes. Are you picking any worrying ones up for the Labour leadership?
Nothing particularly worrying. This afternoon there's going to be a debate on proportional representation, which is going to...
It's a bit weird, isn't it, when people are worrying about paying their rent bills, that they're actually discussing the electoral system.
I completely agree, and most normal people just can't get their heads around it. So that's something that will get passed this afternoon. Keir Starmer's been pretty clear, not interested. So that's, a little bit. But when you compare it to the fights that we had when Jeremy Corbyn was the leader between left and right in the Labour Party, it's small beer, really. So yeah, I think there's a sense that a general election's coming. Labour needs to be unified and present a united front to the country. And it's all about trying to get Keir Starmer into number 10. But yeah, he's by no means sealed the deal, and a lot's going to hinge on his speech tomorrow.